It's been 2 months since I 50 useless stat video, so I kinda forgot what nonsense I used to say in the intros. But we finally back. So here we go, 50 useless Kanto stats. For this video, only Pokemon that originate from the Kanto region will be in the count, not regional variants, alternative forms, or mega evolutions, unless stated otherwise. Let's just start. The top 3 highest HP stat by a Kantonian Pokemon are all associated with the normal type. The 4 lowest special defense allocation of all Kanto Pokemon are associated with the water type. The top 2 highest speed in Kanto are both mono-electric Pokemon. Kanto has the Pokemon with the highest HP allocation in the entire franchise, with Chansey. Kanto also has the Pokemon with the lowest attack allocation in the whole franchise, also being Chansey. Kanto also has the lowest defense allocation of all Pokemon in the franchise, with that also being Chansey. Kanto has the Pokemon that is tied for the highest speed allocation in the entire franchise, with Magikarp, tied with Feebas. The top 4 highest HP allocation of a Kanto Pokemon are all associated with the normal type. The Kanto region released the most amount of monotype Pokemons out of any region, with 84. Kanto also has the highest concentration of monotype Pokemons, being the only region above 55%. Kanto is tied for having the most amount of flying types in a singular region, with 19. Kanto released the most amount of ground type in a singular region at 14. Kanto released the most amount of normal types in a singular region at 22. Kanto released the most amount of poison types in a singular region with 33, and also has the highest concentration of poison types of all regions. This value of 33 is the singular most amount of times any type released any amount of Pokemons. Kanto released the most amount of water types at 32, and also has the highest concentration of all regions. Kanto is the only region that doesn't have a Pokemon of a certain type, that being Dark. It has 0. The most commonly used initial for a Pokemon in the Kanto region is M, which was used a total of 16 times. Kanto released the most amount of Pokemon that started with the letter M out of all regions. Kanto released the most amount of Pokemon that started with the letter G out of all regions at 12. Kanto released the most amount of Pokemon that start with the letter J out of all regions with 3. Kanto released the most amount of Pokemon that start with the letter N with 7. Kanto released the most amount of Pokemon that starts with P at 15. Mew is the only Pokemon from the Kanto region that has a triple-digit value in all of its bulk categories. Mewtwo and Mew are the only 2 Pokemon from the Kanto region to have all their offense categories at triple digit. Alright, halfway done. Just letting y'all know my favorite Kantonian Pokemon is Gengar. Already said this for the poison type video, so I'm gonna just reuse that clip and yeah. Alright, halfway done. My favorite poison type Pokemon is Gengar. Everyone already know Gengar is cool like that, so I don't need to explain myself much further. The average base stat of a Kantonian Pokemon is 408. Ponyta is closest to this average at 410. The most commonly used base stat in the Kanto region is 490. Which was used a total of 8 times. These are the average stats for the average Pokemon in the Kanto region. Only Dragonair is within 12 points of each of the averages. Likewise, Mew isn't within 25 points of any of the categories. If physical stats were removed, Geodude would have the lowest base stat at 120. If special stats were removed, Abra would have the lowest stat at 150. If physical stats were removed, Mewtwo would have the highest base stat at 480. If special stats were removed, Mewtwo would have the highest stat at 436. Mewtwo is the best physical sweeper, special sweeper, and special tank in the Kanto region. Cloyster is the best physical tank in the Kanto region with a score of 275. Metapod is the worst physical sweeper with a score of 50. Geodude is the worst special sweeper with a score of 50. Chansey is the worst physical tank with a score of 10. And Magikarp is the worst special tank with a score of 35. Mewtwo has the highest offense in the Kanto region at 394. Chansey has the largest bulk in the Kanto region at 360. Chansey also has the largest gap between bulk and offense categories at a value of 270. Cloyster has the largest difference between its defense stat at 135 of all Kanto Pokemon. 3 Kanto Pokemon has a special attack value which is 85 more than their attack value. All 3 came from the same evolution line. There exists 0 dual type Pokemon that are in the top 10 for speed allocation of a Kanto Pokemon. Kanto released the Pokemon with the lowest BMI in the entire franchise, that being Haunter, with a BMI of 0. Snorlax is the heaviest Pokemon from the Kanto region. Onix is the tallest Pokemon from the Kanto region. These are the average stat allocation amongst all Kanto Pokemons. Only Ditto and Mew are within 1.5 percentage points of each of the categories. Likewise, only Rhyhorn isn't within 6 percentage points of any of the average stat allocations for a Kanto Pokemon. Yeah, those were 50 useless Kanto stats. These videos will continue in chronological order, so next will be the Johto region. Just expect half of that list to be covered with Shuckle. And yeah, that's about it.